So first of all, I want to thank you for taking the time to join in on this virtual orientation. I'm going to keep it as brief as I can while also being as informative as I can. And, we'll get you back to your Friday night. The last place you want to be is sitting on Zoom on a Friday evening. So first things first, my name is Mr. Suarez. I am one of the program directors with Enrichment Masters. First, I'm going to give you a little layout of how I'm going to run the orientation. This orientation is being recorded. So for any parents who aren't in here, or for the rest of the parents who aren't in here, we're going to go ahead and record it, and we're going to put it on our YouTube channel so that anyone who missed it is able to join in and still get the same information. If you have any questions, you can by all means type them in the chat so that I can get to it at the end during the Q&A session. But that said, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the different programs that we're going to be having at Banyan. So let me pull up that list for you. That's different school and Banyan. There you are. So in the fall, we're going to have the drum line, just as we did last year. We're going to have fashion design, pottery and ceramics, robotics and engineering in the fall. For the spring, on the other hand, we will have basketball, guitar, science experiments club, and sketching and comic book creators. So if you're curious to know what it is that's going to be covered in those programs on our website, if you go to the About Our Programs, click on the program you want to learn more about. There's a spot for more information, and it'll lead you to a sample curriculum that will tell you the lesson titles, what's going to be covered, the skills that are practiced, all that jazz in all of the programs that we have. It is just a sample. It is subject to change as our instructors develop the curriculum further along the year, but that's just, again, a sample to give you an idea. On the topic of the curriculum, this is our second year at Banyan, and one of the things that we work on is the project-based model. In case you're not aware of what that is, it's simply they are learning the basics and the fundamentals of each program, but they're really working towards application towards one final project, presentation, competition, something like that. So to give you an example, I don't recall if your child was in the drum line last year, but if they were, then you remember the drumline competition that we held at the Tamarack Community Center, where we had the different schools competing and we had the voting, and a guest drumline came to perform, and it was a whole spectacle and it was a whole lot of fun. And that's really what we're leaning towards. We want the spectacle aspect to be there, really make them feel that sense of accomplishment, make the kids really feel proud of what they've worked on, what they've created, what they've performed. So that's one of our biggest things. So on the topic of the final projects, they are going to be different for each different enrichment program. So you can expect a whole variety of different showcases this December, and then a whole other set at the end of May, beginning of June for the spring semester. Moving right along, I'm going to discuss switching out programs. Obviously, we have many different programs available. And it's possible that you put your child in one and then maybe they're not really feeling it and they want to try something new. And the short answer to can my child switch programs is yes, totally can. The one thing that we do discourage is repetitive switching. So for example, if they're in fashion design and then they want to switch to drumline the next month, okay, that's fine. But then after that, they want to switch to robotics, and then they want to switch to the reason that we discourage that is because of that final project I was just talking about. If a child joins in drumline after being in fashion design and robotics, and they join in drumline in the third month, they're already going to start pretty far behind. And at that point, they're already working towards that final project. So, the child could get frustrated or disheartened because they're not, up to speed with everybody else. And they might, eventually get some resentment towards the program where it's nobody's fault, but, they just started a little bit late. So again, to wrap that all in a nice little bow, can they switch programs? Totally. Do we encourage repetitive switching? No, we do not. But at the end of the day, you guys make the choice of what program, or the children make the choice of what program they want to be in. Moving on, I want to talk about the day-to-day of what it's going to look like, specifically at Banyan. When we're out there every Wednesday, once a week, every Wednesday, the dismissal procedure is going to be a little bit different. So just to give you an idea, there's many different dismissal procedures. There's aftercare, bike rider, car rider, bus rider, whatever. So I'm going to go through each one just so that you know how, so we know how it's going to work. If a child is in aftercare, on Wednesdays, what will happen is that they will report to aftercare first, and then when it's time for them to come to the enrichment program, they will be escorted to the enrichment program, either by friends that are in the program as well, or by you know, a staff member. When the program is done, they go right back to aftercare, easy. If your child is a car rider, walker, or a bus rider, they will need to get picked up at our dismissal location. That is still being finalized with administration. So the next email that you guys get from us will be information based, you know, about the dismissal procedure, where exactly it's going to be, just so everyone's on the same page for that first day. If you're coming to pick up your child, you do need to have a photo ID with you. You know, it's a safety procedure that we just have to follow. I know, you know, your kid knows who you are, you know who your kid is, but you know, we are not familiar with all the parents yet, so that's something that we take very, very seriously. It's for your child's safety. Is it tedious? 100%. But we do need to, you know, follow that protocol. That's why at the bottom we have that authorized adults who can pick up my child portion of the registration form. Anyone on that list who's coming to pick up your child, please let them know that they need to also bring their IDs so that, so that protocols are followed. So that would be, so parent pickup would be for walkers, car riders, or bus riders. Now, if a child is a bike rider, they do not need to be signed out. They are free to just ride their bikes home. However, they will be escorted back to their bike racks. And you know, one of our staff members will be there to make sure that they're riding off safely and that they're good to go. But yeah, so that's really how the dismissal process is going to go. It's really, really simple, and it goes by pretty fast. You know, I'd be lying if I said that it took that long. So moving on to rainy days. Rainy days does not mean that we cancel the program. So even if a program is an outdoors one, like a drumline or the basketball, we're not going to cancel that. We have a lease agreement with the school where we can use specific rooms in the school as a backup location. So even if it's raining, you can rest assured that the program will still continue on that day. The next thing, I know I've touched on it a little bit already, but the next email you get from us regarding information on the programs will contain everything you need to know about dismissal, locations, times, who's in what group, all that stuff. So look out for that one. We've had a few parents say that they haven't been getting our emails, but they find them in the spam for some reason. So please check your spam folder as well. Moving on, I have just 3 little things that I'm going to cover, and then I'll open it to Q&A if you have any questions. The payments. So if you're in this meeting, it's very likely that you've already made a payment. So that payment covers the first 4 sessions of the program. I would normally say monthly, but that's not 100% accurate because of days where there's no school or breaks or something like that. So for example, you guys are going to be starting on Wednesday, September 7th. So the payment that has been made covers September 7th, 14th, 21st, and 28th. You do not have to worry about another payment until that last week of September, where you can start paying for October. Now we will have the option for automatic billing. If you want to opt in for that, you totally can. You know, sometimes it slips parents' minds that they got to make a payment. So we have that option available for you. We'll send you notification a few days prior saying, hey, so you know the payment's coming up. That way you don't freak out when you get charged $50 to your account. So giving you a heads up. If you'd like to continue doing it manually, by all means, you can do that as well. Either way is fine. There is no right or wrong way to do it. Moving on, I mentioned earlier about our YouTube channel. Not only will you find these virtual parent orientations on that channel, but we'll also be uploading practice videos for any program that requires some at-home practice or benefits from at-home practice, such as the drum line, basketball, stepping, sketching and comic book creators, something like that. We'll be uploading all that to our YouTube channel, so I encourage you to subscribe to that. We're not trying to get YouTube famous or anything like that. We just wanted, for you guys to have access to that supplemental, those supplemental lessons. And the very last thing before I open it to Q&A is materials. We've gotten a lot of emails from parents asking, hey, do I have to buy this for my kid? Do I have to bring that? Do they have to bring their own drumsticks? Do they have to bring this? You do not have to give them anything specific for the program. Whatever is required for the program, we provide them with already. Now, that said, if they want to bring their own materials, by all means, they totally can. They are responsible for their own materials, but it is allowed. And actually on our website, on the EM shop, you can find some more supplemental materials that they can use. So such as drumsticks, a drum pad to practice at home without making all the noise of a real life drum. We have robotics practice kits where the kids get to practice programming and putting together the robots, different things like that. So if you haven't already done so, you can take a look at that, see if that's something that you think your child will benefit from. Is it required? By no means, but it is something that we have additional. And that's really it on my end. If you have any questions, feel free to type them up in the chat and I'd be more than happy to answer them. But if not, you're actually free to go and enjoy the rest of your Friday evening.